In this unit, we'll cover how to use the asset database within QRadar to investigate offenses. After this unit, you'll be able to describe what the purpose of the asset profile is and how QRadar gathers the information, as well as how to use it to investigate details of an offense. In this lesson, we'll give you an overview of the asset database and the underlying asset profiles. In addition to the data QRadar gathers from log events as well as monitoring network traffic, QRadar also maintains a database of assets it observes in the environment. An asset in QRadar is any kind of device or system that communicates on the network. Asset profiles, which QRadar will create when it detects a new asset in the environment, contain information about these systems, such as perhaps a name resolved from DNS, IP addresses, perhaps even physical MAC addresses, as well as what operating system and what potentially vulnerabilities may be associated with that system. These asset profiles are used throughout the product. For instance, when we're investigating an offense, we can pull up an asset record of an internal system and discover whether or not it has a particular port open which may be compromising the system. Asset profile information, which also include vulnerability information from scanners such as IBM's own QRadar Vulnerability Manager or perhaps a third-party scanner, can be used to correlate information about that vulnerability with potential attacks in the environment. It's not to say that the asset database would replace an enterprise asset management solution, but it can provide you valuable information about the current operational status of your environment. What systems are active? What systems perhaps are running operating systems you weren't aware of, especially in our BYOD computing environment. This asset database is continually being updated as we receive new information. QRadar creates these asset profiles automatically by monitoring a variety of data sources. For instance, if you're feeding logs such as DHCP, DNS, VPN, proxy firewall logs into QRadar, we can use that information to create asset records. Consider a workstation logging into the environment and querying a DHCP server and receiving a IP address assignment. The information about that IP address would trigger the generation of an asset profile. In addition, we can also update that asset profile record with the MAC address associated with that DHCP request. QRadar can also use information gathered from network traffic monitoring, either via the consumption of NetFlow records or through its own monitoring using QFlow sensors. These passively gathered bidirectional flows will create new asset records or update existing asset records as we see the communication. Consider a workstation that suddenly starts serving traffic on a known database port. You would now have this information added to the asset record because we actually observed the traffic on the wire. QRadar also supports integration with enterprise vulnerability scanners. This includes IBM's own QRadar Vulnerability Manager as well as third-party scanners in the market. Information from enterprise scans include what ports and services are available on the scan system, as well as associated vulnerabilities. This information, coupled with what we see in the actual environment, provides you a very comprehensive view of the current operational posture. There is also a manual import facility available. The import supports 4 fields, that being the IP address of the asset, the name of the asset, a weighting, as well as a free-form description field.